Hello everybody, and welcome back to Echo. We are still on Leo's route, the best route, the only route. What was it? We just finished all of, we finished up Wednesday and Thursday. That was fun. I think that's fun. And what is it? We're going to... We're starting Friday. We are doing the Friday. It'll be nice. It'll be very nice. We'll just get in there, right? So like, what happened last? We went and did some soccer with what are their names? Kudzu and TJ. That seems really cute, even if like it feels almost out of place, but it's still pretty cute. It's pretty cute. I do enjoy it. And we've got ice cream, but now Leo's like, I'm gonna help you with your project. We're actually gonna get stuff done on it, unlike half the other routes. That always made me like kind of laugh with how what you would think TJ and Jenna's routes, you would get more done on your project because those two like care about school. And it's like, nah, you get the most done on that project in Leo, Flynn, and Carl's routes. Isn't that kind of funny? I always think that's fun. Wow. Clint wasn't lying after all. What? Leo whispers it at me from across the table, and not looking up from his phone. Nothing. Just finding some interesting stuff. I whisper back. Good. Leo grins, but still doesn't look up from his phone. There isn't much to go off of. Oh. Let me turn up the game volume a little bit. There we go. There we go. Okay. After reading through it, I'm pretty skeptical of Haunted Echo, the main source of my documentary. At least the bits of information I just come across references some newspaper article from 1952. The young wolf named Robert Smith wasn't even a resident of Echo. He'd been resting at the Echo classification yard after taking a train from the capital. He was on his way to the west coast, and once he thought he'd found the right train, he attempted to board it. No one knows exactly what happened. Yet somehow, his train hopping went horribly wrong, and he was found with both limbs severed 2 hours later. He had managed to crawl 20 yards north, up along the rail before he was found. Somehow, impossibly, he survived the ordeal up to that point. This was mainly due to the mud packs that had been placed on the stumps, halting the bleeding. Of note was the fact that Robert had seemingly become delirious because of the blood loss, pain, or trauma. Maybe all three! Likely a combination of all three. There we go! He claimed that the bleeding had been stopped by a creature of some kind. When he tried to describe it, he began to sob and scream incoherently. It's hard to say how much of this is being exaggerated by the author. Either way, I don't exactly have time to track down all of her sources, so I decide I'll just have to trust it. My leg jumps as something soft and ticklish brushes up against it. I snap my gaze up at Leo. What? Leo gives me an innocent look while he continues to brush his tail up against my leg. Aaron, hello! Hello, it's been a minute. Well, if you're not gonna say anything, then please stop doing that. It's distracting. He does stop. Then, and I feel a little guilty, so I look back up. And thanks for getting a library card, just so I could check it out. It's a huge help. He smiles. No problem. Nutria? Huh? Not one of your sexier words. I return back to the book. It's unlikely that... Oh god, excuse me. It's unlikely that Robert would have survived anyway, due to the extent of his injury and infection. Still, it is of note that he ended up committing suicide a few hours after discovery. He apparently slipped out of the 5th floor window of the Peyton Regional Medical Center. Though authorities simply dismissed it as a case of a man knowing that his demise was and finished the job himself. The author speculated it had something to do with the horrors he saw on the tracks. I hear a soft whine coming from in front of me, and I lower the book to find Leo draped across the table on his chest. No, it's cute. Okay? It's cute. Hello, Cat. He's looking up at me with huge puppy eyes. I can't help but smile because it's so fucking adorable, even for a wolf as big as him. What? I have a project to do, remember? Yeah, I know. But we've been here for 3 hours now, and you should take a break. I look at the time, and I'm shocked that he's actually right. How the hell did that happen? Well, I guess that's a good idea. I was just finding some really interesting stuff. I'm surprised that project of yours is gonna turn out awesome. Oh, I'm sure that the project, yeah. He grins and stands up abruptly, grabbing my book up as well, so I couldn't continue to read. Let's go get some lunch. It's already almost 3. It's already 3 p.m.? Wow, we really cut through this today, didn't we? Chunter do be a studying boy. How did you all do with, like, research, like, assignments and stuff back in the Coal Lodge? Oh, hello, Cirrus. I was that person that would not do a lot of research. I would typically choose topics that I already knew a decent amount. And then the projects that, like, I didn't know much about, we did bare minimum. Right? Barest of minimum. I think I'm lucky that a lot of my teachers in college, like, would let us pick topics. For the most part, it would be like, because I took art classes, right? It would be like, choose an artist, do a thing on them, do a paper on a piece that a artist did, and so I was able to just like pick things I already knew about, right? Shit like that. It was very convenient. It was very nice. All right, did you want to go to the diner? You want to eat there? Well, it's been a few days. I'd like to catch up with the others, you know. I know that's what you wanted to do. Actually, everyone's busy. I already tried. Oh, really? What are they doing? Well, Flynn's working. TJ and Jen are on a hike, and Carl's asleep. How do you know that? I mean, that's an easy call to make, right? He's a sleepy boy. Oh. It doesn't really seem like Leo is just to blow off meeting up with everyone. But I guess at this point in the trip, he is just tired of being tired of trying. I know I would be. Probably just to show me up after what I said last night. Leo takes me to a semi-fancy steakhouse. He, of course, insists on paying for everything. What a gentleman. I'm not really sure when Leo became so concerned with how I perceive his income. I don't mind, though. The meal is good, and I'm happy not to pay the $30 price tag. It does remind me of his job, though, so I ask him about his schedule. He says his parents gave him the entire week off, which surprises me. I remember how Leo worked almost every day in that shop. I guess his dad is just mellowed out with age. Again, I have no reason to complain, though. Ah, it's so peaceful. Isn't it nice? Yeah. On the way back, Leo nudges me as I'm nodding off and gestures out his window. Peyton High. Sure enough, our old school is visible out the window. I want to swing around. Just to look at it? Yeah. I'm tired, but we're not doing anything else. Alright, why not? It's past 5 at this point, and as we pull up into the parking lot, there are only a few cars scattered around. We walk around the side of the school, then onto the football field. If Peyton High School put any money anywhere, it was definitely sports. That was one of the reasons I was so mediocre by comparison. Every sport in the school was extremely competitive, each one winning state regularly. They win state again since I've been gone? Nope. It came close last year, though. Almost as close as we did back in '09. Yeah. You still sore about that? Leo sits down on the top bench of the concrete bleachers, and I sit down next to him. Sometimes. Mostly because we were so damn close, and it really just feels like it was yesterday. It does kind of feel that way. I can remember it pretty clearly. It was one of the few times I had seen Leo really cry. Hello, Selkie. He'd wanted that championship so bad. I lean back and look around, breathing in deeply. Grow up, loser. You peaked in high school. He really did. Like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. He's still hot. He's got that going for him. Wow, it's really nostalgic being here. Isn't it? Leo looks off toward the sunset, and I can see him getting glassy-eyed. Is it weird that, if I could, I'd go through high school again? I think for a moment. Yeah, it's a little weird. Not really. I'd like to do it too. Yeah, I'd like to do it. I made a lot of mistakes. You made it on time? Yeah, even hello! You did it! Because, well, you did arrive late last time, yeah. You missed the fun times with Shunter on, for Thursday. No, it was Wednesday night, right? That's when the crowbar incident happens. Yeah. Well, not really because of that. More like it was a lot of fun. I just want to experience it all again. And I grin at him. Hey, you're talking like you peaked in high school. Well, you kind of did. Just a little bit. Just a little. Did I? The question catches me completely off guard, and my stumbling around for words that follow doesn't help. No. He sighs. Leo, you've got a good paying job, your own house, a pretty damn good life. You're doing better than most. He laughs a little. I guess. I just don't feel like it, you know? Why not? He leans back. Well, I don't really feel as good as I did back then, when I think of high school, or even further back. Man, those were the days. I think about how completely inversed I am to that, how my life improved exponentially after I left the town. Well, you know, if you keep looking back, I don't think you'll ever be happy. Oh, there it is. There's the best piece in the game. It's so cute. He looks so sad. I wrap an arm around his shoulder, which is a little difficult considering how broad they are. Because 5 years from now, you'll probably look back on this era of your life and think, man, I wish I could go back. You're probably right. So let's just enjoy now. Leo sighs again, then looks straight down at me, meeting my eyes. All I have to do is minimize your tabs, and there you go. Oh my god. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, we can at least do this. There we go. Look at those shitty little legs of Chunters. These shitty little legs.
Chase?
Yeah? He pauses, looking off to the side before turning his eyes back on me.
I love you.
I immediately look away.
Chase, please. Please just come back. I miss you so much. Every day.
I stare out across the field, not able to meet his eyes again.
I'll stop smoking. I'll stop picking on Clint. I'll get rid of the gun. Just please come back.
I don't know, Leo. You know how I don't like it there, and I feel like I should keep my options open to find a good job, a good place to live.
Just for a year or two, while you're getting on your feet. I'll give you a place to stay.
That sounds great, Leo, but to get back together, that'd be like setting ourselves up for another breakup, and I don't want to do that.
But then we know for sure, without parents, or school in the way. It'll just be us, and then, even if it doesn't work out, there's some closure there.
For the first time, I feel myself seeing things from Leo's point of view. I'm not necessarily losing anything by at least trying. Right? We all can agree with that, right? Make the bad decision, Chase. It'll feel good in the moment. And he's right. There really wasn't any closure, mostly because of me. Leo must sense my indecision, because he immediately presses forward.
And I'll be making enough to support you for a while. Support you while you figure things out.
Hey, I don't want to mooch.
I don't mind. I just want you to be comfortable so you can do what you want to do.
But, Echo. Leo's quiet for a while. A long while before he finally speaks up.
Now that I can't fix. But I guess one way to decide is to weigh what's more important to you.
You're asking me to choose?
I'm not asking that exactly.
Leo glances at me.
But if I did.
I blow out a sigh. A long sigh. So you are. He doesn't say anything, so my mind starts wandering over the years we spent together. Despite how much we fight, there's no question in my mind what the answer is, and it hits me like a thunderbolt. Well, I choose you. All at once, his face explodes into a grin. So much happiness in one expression that I don't think I'd ever be able to take back what I just said, even if I wanted to. And instantly I'm wrapped up in a tight, warm hug, one that crushes the air out of my lungs.
Oh my god, Chase. I love you so fucking much.
Hey!
But you've still got a year of school left, so we're gonna have to get back into contact and we're gonna have to exchange.
I clasp his muzzle shut with my hand, and he just stares back at me with wide eyes. I didn't even say yes. I take my hand away from his muzzle.
Oh, well, what do you say?
I look again towards the sunset, past the concrete bleachers and goalposts, in the direction of Echo, and take a deep breath. I look back at Leo. Yes. And then he kisses me. It's not rough like it was at the train yard. His mouth stays closed, but he holds my head gently, and it's like he's trying to pour all of his love into me through just his lips. As ridiculous as it might sound, I can feel it. Ah, we love doing bad decisions. He's such a theater kid. Yeah, he is. Look, Chase is just me, but as a theater kid, which is the defining thing that separates us, you know, for Leo's heavy, soft body presses me into the bed, licking and kissing up my neck. His hands slide up and down my body, feeling out everything, and he's gasping as he can't catch his breath. I lay there, my eyes shut as I feel his cock pressing up against mine, writhing every time Leo reaches down to grasp them together. I slide my own hands down his back until they reach his rear, and I squeeze hard under his tail, forcing another gasp out of the big wolf. Oh, hello, Michael. Would Chase play the instrument? No. He'd probably be like, that looks big and heavy. No. You'd probably be like, my back. You go. He'd complain about back problems earlier in the game, right? That's fine. Slowly, he starts to lick down the length of my body, starting with my chest and then down to my stomach. He pauses to snuff and tease around my navel before his mouth finally closes around me. My eyes roll back as I clench into the sheets, arcing my back. Yeah, that's fine. I listen as Leo showers down the hall, and I smile as I hear him singing. I'd usually shower with him back in the day, but I was so tired I passed out as soon as we both finished. Once I opened my eyes again, Leo was already in the shower. I'm about to drift off again when I hear Leo's phone buzz. He'd been on it all day, probably trying to coordinate a meeting with others. It's already Friday, which is hard to believe. We had to get together again before we lost the chance. I look over. The screen is already lit up, so I sit up and look. A message from Flynn.
Yeah, well, fuck you too.
Not exactly a surprising message to get from Flynn, but still I wonder what they're fighting about. From the sound of it, Leo is still in the middle of his shower, which is still rocking out to his diva pop music song, whatever. Oh, we be noisy. We be nosy. We're a gossiping bitch, you know. With some amount of guilt, I reach over and grab his phone and open up his texts. I still do this to some of my friends. If I manage to like take their phone, and I see there's a notification, I'll be like, "Oh, what text did you get?" Sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, Josh, what if it's porn?" And I look at them and go like, "No one's sending you porn." uh, Immediately, I see a few pinned conversations. That's from me. Oh my god, Josh, what do you mean? Well, it better be good porn. There's like one friend that I have that like sometimes will receive porn from his other friends, and it goes either way because this man's bi. So like sometimes it's women, sometimes it's men. It's really a toss up. But I do get to make fun of the women that he likes because he has particular tastes. Uh, oh my god. Like he likes his girls quirky. What I mean to say is Renoa is his favorite Final Fantasy character. Oh wait, if you remember uh what was it, Yumi and her? He liked the Zappy Zappy girl. Yeah. Like a lot. He humiliates straight people too. Look, Michael, the way that I look at it is if you don't want me to open up your phone and look at your messages, put a password on it. I think that's a simple thing. Or don't leave your phone out on the table unlocked. These are simple things you can do. Judging by the dates, they're from when I was still away at college. There's also a few saved attachments, and I quickly swipe away the other, more recent conversations. Nah, they were looking for that, right? They're just asking for it at that point. They want it. The latest is from Flynn from earlier this morning, and it looks like it was from Flynn.
Chase has a project to do. Bullshit. You're fucking with him again, huh? I'm helping him.
Who the fuck doesn't have a password still? Hets. Some people are lazy. Some people are like that. It do be that way. Like what? You had Darian used to not lock his apartments. He was like that for a long time. I knew classmates who didn't lock their car doors, and they would just usually shrug and go like, like who's gonna steal it? So like, yeah, that's just the thing people do. Yeah. What? Yeah. He locks the apartments now. Yeah, I knew a lot of classmates in college that didn't lock their car doors. It's a little weird. What was it?
You planned this from the start, didn't you? What? This whole thing. It was to get back in his pants. How about I planned this after you ruined the entire week? Yeah, well, fuck you too.
I frown. It's too bad Leo and Flynn are still fighting, but for some reason their exchange had me feeling uneasy. The car thing is so common, I hate it. It's weird. Lock your car.
Otherwise, I'm gonna steal it.
I pull up his next text, recent text thread. One with Carl. Carl asked Leo when we're hanging out again. Yesterday night? You couldn't just say last night? Leo pokes some fun at him about sleeping in the crawl space. Then Leo tells him that he isn't sure, that I'll probably be too busy with my project to hang out. Leo never asked me. I feel my heart start to pound. Today, Carl texted again, asking how things were going. Leo tells him that I wanted to go to the high school for nostalgia's sake, and that I wanted to be alone for it. He sent that 2 hours before we even got there, before he acted as if it was on a whim. Then Jenna asks if Leo is avoiding her, if she said something wrong. Oh, come on. Jenna would never. Come on, Jenna would have replied with something similar to Flynn. Look, when we get, what is it? When we get the 1.02 release, they'll fix that line. Jenna will be like, yeah, fuck off. Yeah, fuck you too. Leo tells her everything is fine, but again, I'm too busy to hang out. And then his text to TJ. Hey, yesterday was so much fun. I know you said you were probably going to be busy, but I wanted to check. Smiley face.
Chase is still pretty sad about what happened Monday. I think he needs more time.
Oh, okay. Please tell him I'm sorry. He told me he was fine yesterday, but I guess he must have been faking it for my sake.
Yeah, he's still pretty broken up. We'll figure it out, though.
I'm gripping the phone hard. Could Leo have really done all of this? To TJ, especially. But not Chase. Like, hello, he has a phone? Does he? Does he? I like to think that there was a previous version of the script in which Leo accidentally breaks Chase's phone again to justify all of this. That must have been in the scenario writing at some point, right? Right? Yeah. I sat there quietly, listening to my wolf continue to sing. My stomach twists up as I realize that now I have to confront him on this. Is Chase like me? No, 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 no. He texts his friends. He does in other routes. And, like, in Route 65. Yeah. Yeah. I've let things slide before, but this is on a different level. I hug my knees and stare at the wall, feeling strangely violated now. As I stare, I see a dark spot with spindly legs move across the wall. The spider pauses as if acknowledging me before disappearing into the dark corner. He's not as bad as me. Yeah! I sit on hard, uneven ground, shivering as I try to cover myself up with a blanket. Oh, this dream sequence! What a weird sequence, right? It's so odd. My eyes adjust enough for me to realize that I'm outside, outside somewhere, looking through the branches of dead trees to the many stars above me. What is it? Yeah. All right, for my Patreons, right? I should mention this because this poll will end on a few hours on the Patreon Discord. Well, make sure to vote for something I'll play next on my main channel. You know, do the thing. There's for some reason like a 4-way tie for third place. So like break that. Do that for me, okay? Vote for the top and bottom one. They're quick games. Okay. Okay. Aside from the calls of a few birds, it's completely silent. I stare at the sky above me for a while, wishing that I wasn't so cold so I could go back to sleep. By joining the Patreon. That's true. That's true. I now do more polls and stuff on the Discord, and then to narrow things down, to put polls onto YouTube. So you get more of a decision if you're a patron. And then you're on the Discord server. Yeah. You know how it is. Where am I? The slight confusion I feel mixed in with the apathy of just waking up is a familiar feeling. No, just always feel apathy. Never, never empathize or sympathize with anything. Always apathy. I can remember when my parents forced me into Boy Scouts 10 years ago. I hated it so much, especially the camping. I could never fall asleep, and when I finally did it, would be marred by me tossing and turning, waking up in confusion as to where I was. I'd sit up straight in the tent, looking around me for up to 10 minutes, wondering why I was in complete darkness and sitting in a sleeping bag. Lit. Should you vote for the tyrant? Vote for what you want to see, Selkie. Just vote for something that catches your eye, right? Just do the thing. Hello, Haza. Is it all? Haza. Yeah, that's how we're gonna pronounce that. Boy Scouts camping. P. My pants accidental. Ian. Ian, please. No, dear. Whatever sells the Patreon subs. Oh, that's true, Michael. That's true. Except that you know how bad I am at promoting myself. Except now there is no tent or sleeping bag. My mind works slowly, like it's drenched in molasses. Want some potatoes with your molasses? That's a song, right? And I knead the ground with my fingers, digging them into the dead vegetation and soil. And then finally, I break through the barrier to lucidity, and I realize that what's happening to me is real. We hate that anime. It's a very Tumblr anime, that is for certain. I'm outside. I look left and right and see that I'm surrounded by trees and bushes, probably full of ticks. The smell of sagebrush and dirt fills my nostrils as I unsteadily get to my feet. My limbs and flesh are numb from the cold, and I rub my hands up and down my arms, trying to find some warmth. Did I sleepwalk? I must have, unless Leo took me out here for some reason, or someone else did. I shiver. There's not much else I can do except walk forward. Ahead of me, it looks like the branches clear out into more darkness. I hope that I'm just behind Leo's house, where I know there are some bushes and trees. Either way, I can't be that far from the house. So I start walking, reaching out blindly to move past sharp branches and prickly bushes. The pain wasn't that bad, not nearly as bad as you'd think it'd be. I look back behind me, staring hard into the dark, the blackness, the darkness, the barkness. I don't see anything beyond the branches right in front of me, which gives the impression of gnarled teeth in front of a black endless mouth. Quickly, I turn back around and push through the dead vegetation in front of me, trying not to panic. The inky blackness, yeah. But I know I was dead the moment I looked down. A branch scrapes across my cheek, and another stabs me hard in the hip as I run tight into it. Two stumps, gashing blood splashes the wheel of the train and rails. I finally break out into the open. Now I can see more stars above me, but the complete lack of a moon makes almost everything around me impossible to see. I can at least tell that it's a large clearing, but no matter how hard I squint, I can't see ahead of me. Tentatively, I start walking forward, looking left and right for any signs of light that might help guide me back to the town. I can feel a worrying seed of panic starting up in my chest, and I worry it's going to explode out of me at any second. The last thing I need is me running through the night, screaming my head off. Pretty soon, I become aware of what looks like a large block in front of me. Again, I reach out with my hands, walking slower as I approach whatever it is that's in front of me. They press up against something hard and rough and cold. Whatever it is made of, it's some type of metal. I feel it feels broken and rusted, so I assume it's old. Was it a warehouse of some kind? I step to the side and sidestep to the right until my hands run up against some bars that stick out from the structure, and that's when it hits me. It's a freight car from the old train. Sure enough, the next thing my hands meet is empty space, as I come across what I remember to be the open door I had sat in earlier. I was out in the train yard. I almost laugh. Did my anxiety about finishing the project cause me to sleepwalk all the way out here? At least now I know exactly where I am. I rest my hands on the edge of the car, breathing in the musty air inside. There's a hint of something, sweet and sick on top of it, and it crosses my mind that anything could have crawled inside and died. I quickly move away from the car. Turning my body in the direction I know Leo's house is in, I start walking again, pouring through my most recent memories to see if I could somehow remember how the hell I got here. Why is it bleeding below the bar? I remember Leo coming back into the bedroom, putting his arms around me, then nothing. I definitely fell asleep, Sleepwalking is the only answer. The sound of rustling behind me makes me jump, but I keep moving forward, not wanting some tiny creature in the grass getting me spooked. Squinting ahead of me, I see no light yet, which is strange because I know Echo should have at least a few lights on, the street lights at least. A loud metallic clang fills the air, and this time I do whirl around. Hello? My voice is still scratchy from waking up, but I cough and clear it. Hello? The loudness of my voice actually startles me, but the response is silence. Did a bird hit it? It's dark, just slam into it. Maybe I knocked something loose when I was feeling around. I'm definitely not going back to check it out, though. So, with a quickened pace, I start moving again. That's when I hear more shifting around in the car, like something is rolling around inside. I stop myself, again, and hold still, a perk in my ears as I try to hold my breath, heart pounding. This time, I do call out and instead, just silence. Yeah, hello, Alex. Yeah, I'm live. Just hanging out, doing things. Oh, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you around. I swallow, and it's so loud I almost jump at that sound. But again, the sound stops completely. I wait a while longer before I start moving again, this time at a slight jog. A crazy thought enters my mind, though. I think maybe Leo and I got really drunk and maybe we both came out here and blacked out. And that Leo is in the train car right now, hungover and rolling around. It's in the middle of that thought that the sound starts up again. It's louder this time and ends up with it cutting off for a split second, before something heavy thuds to the dead vegetation below. I stop again, but this time it's so that whatever it is doesn't hear me, knowing that if I keep walking, the heavy crunches of my footsteps will allow for it to pinpoint me immediately. My throat is completely dry, and a new thought enters my mind. It could be Clint. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he came out here to sleep in the train cars. That would totally be something that he'd do. What about you guys? Would you just like randomly sleep in an old abandoned train car in the middle of the desert? Could be fun, right? It could be comfortable. Well, it does ease my worries a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I was munching on some ice. I'm not fully relaxed because I know the dumb fuck has a gun. I also know he wouldn't hesitate to shoot at something if it startled him. So I crouch down a bit, waiting, listening, and now I'm pretty sure I can hear breathing, ragged, wheezy breathing that definitely sounds like Clint. I gather up some spit in my mouth so my tongue doesn't stick to the roof of it, and take a small breath. Hey, Clint! I say it gently, quietly, but I'm not sure he can hear me. I get some more silence in return, but I also get the distinct feeling that he's listening back, sorry. I try again. It's me, Chick! There's an explosion of energy, and oh, that's loud. We'll turn that down for you guys. By a lot. We don't want things too oppressive here, right? There's an explosion of energy and a sound in front of me, but it's not a gunshot. There we go. Instead, it's a sense of forward momentum that I can physically feel, and whatever it is in front of me is lunging forward at me. Two loud thuds, one following the other, is less than half a second followed by an explosive, dragging sound. The cycle repeats the second it ends. Whatever it is sounds desperate, almost manic, but I don't stick around to find out because before I know it, My legs are carrying me through the clearing as fast as they can. All thoughts of what it could be are gone from my mind as I dodge into the trees and bushes to my right, knowing that if I can break through the other side, I'll be right in front of Leo's house. What's behind me, though, is moving impossibly fast. Already it sounds like the distance between me and it has been cut in half, and I'm struggling between branches and sagebrush. I hear it break into the brush with me, sorry. I gasp as I full-on panic sets in. Leo? Leo? I scream as loud as I can, knowing that he should be able to hear me, also knowing that he sleeps like a rock. The thing behind me seems to double its efforts as the sound of my voice and the cycle of its movement increased. It now has the momentum of a gallop. My breaths are coming in panic gasps, and now I know I'm not gonna make it because it's only 3 feet behind me. As if a window opens up in the back of my mind, I see it. 2 clawed hands outstretched towards me, a face that flashes past too fast, okay, for me to make out, but I managed to see a lipless mouth. And then it slams into my back and crushes me into the ground against sharp branches and rock. I gasp as the air is crushed out of me, but before I can suck it back in, those hands wrap around my neck. Oh. I struggle and pull, but it's like I'm an ant under a foot. It's so thoroughly pinned and that I can't even budge an inch. There's hissing behind my head, and I feel dripping against the back of my neck. A tear squeezes out of my eyes, and I try to reach forward, but it's like I'm paralyzed. Paralyzed. I'm yanked back suddenly, my face coming out, and something soft and white. A pillow! Aw, lit!
Chase? Chase, you okay?
Leo's husky voice whispers into my ear as I take in a huge gasp of air.
Whoa, I can't breathe.
I cough and gasp, my face wet with tears as I sit in the bed around me, looking around.
Oh, baby, it's okay.
Leo draws me into a warm hug, and I take it limply, my mind only now catching up. I cough a few more times. Sorry. Paralysis. Couldn't move. Leo rocks me a few times, making shushing sounds.
I remember you telling me about that. Good thing I was here to pull you out of your pillow.
Aw, man. Then Chase would have been like Mary, right? For fur. I mean, Shadow Chase is basically Maria, right? Kind of cute, kind of good. I nod against this chest, realizing how dangerous it could have been if he hadn't been there. I usually come out of the paralysis in under a minute, but sometimes... I shudder and pull back out the hug, wiping my face.
What did you dream about?
I try to think back, but the dream is fleeing my mind as fast as whatever it was that was chasing me. What was chasing me? I can't remember. Leo rubs my shoulder, and I look at my face. It's dark, but I can see the white of his eye patches, giving him an almost ghostly appearance.
You want to stay up? I can make you tea or something.
You have tea? I doubt that. Like, what do you mean you have tea? Does Leo seem like the kind of guy who would just have tea on hand? This is a man that seems like all he has is beer and coffee. The adrenaline is already leaving me to be replaced by fatigue, but the offer sounds nice. Sure.
All right. Want to come with me?
I pause, then shake my head, wanting to collect myself alone for a moment. Bottled tea? Do you think this man has bottled tea? Nah, no. Just give me a second.
Alright.
Leo leans forward and kisses me on the forehead before leaving me alone in the dark room. I lay back down on my bed, trying again to remember what I had dreamed about. He would heat up a clear soda? Oh my god. And call it tea? Okay, now wait a minute though. Remember, if you boil Dr. Pepper and serve it with lemon, you could definitely trick people into thinking that's tea. I was in the woods, and something was after me. That's about all I can recall. The warmth Leo left in the bed quickly has me drowsy again, and I'm about to drift off when something pokes me in the foot. I try to ignore it, but the thought of an insect of some kind has me reaching down for it. Ah, hello, Ben! Good morning, good morning. Hope you're doing all right. It's hard and crackly, whatever it is, and when I pull it up, I find a dead leaf. Frowning, I pull back the sheet, and sheets in there, clinging to the fabric, and fur on my feet is dirt and leaves. That's fine. That's fine. Perfectly normal. That's very good. Oh, Saturday. We love Saturday. Was Mountain Dew not Dr. Pepper? Yeah, it was Dr. Pepper you can do it with. Yeah. You all should try it. Come on, guys. You all can... Aren't you all curious on how it tastes? Like boiled Dr. Pepper served with lemon. Personally, I like it iced after that, but that's just me. We're already on Saturday. Friday's real short. Leo wakes me up early the next day, telling me he had stuff to settle some stuff with his dad at the shop. I don't get much of a chance to ask why or how long before he's out the door, yelling something about food being in the fridge. I'm genuinely curious, but it feels like a forbidden drink. How is it forbidden? It was an official, way to serve Dr. Pepper way back in the day when it was first made. They advertised it like that. They're like, yeah, serve it hot with lemon. It's kind of nice. It's surprisingly nice. I immediately fall back asleep, though, and when I open my eyes again, it's 2 hours later. Back when cola still had cocaine? Yeah. Leo texted me half an hour ago.
Still at Pop's shop, but be back soon. I think.
Oh, okay. I swallow back down the lump of dread in my throat as I remember the text messages. I didn't want to confront him, not one bit, but I can't just let it sit. So why not just text everyone else? Like Chase. Real question here. Why not just text Flynn and be like, hey, you were kind of right. I'm okay with it, though. I don't want to confront him, not one bit, but I can't just let it sit. Something has to be said before I leave. I lay around for another 20 minutes before grabbing my phone to browse a bit. That's when I realize I hadn't charged it last night. My battery is at just 25%. I groan and throw an arm over my eyes. 1 day left to do the project. I'm so far behind, though, that I'm not even feeling any anxiety about it at this point. Just resigned. I should have known better, really, that I wasn't gonna get anything done with Leo around. I stare at the wall for a while longer before I force myself to sit up. No use lying around. I might not be making my best project, but it doesn't mean I couldn't do a few things to make it less terrible. Food momentarily crosses my mind, but I shrug it off. I've never been a breakfast person anyway. No, eat his food! He probably has eggs! He probably has some bacon. Just take it. It's mine now. As soon as I leave the house, I notice things are a bit off. Firstly, it's dead quiet. Usually there is some kind of drone, whatever it's the wind or a plane overhead. That's usually something. No sound of birds either, and those were always chirping in the morning. I stand in the doorway for a bit, feeling a vague sense of tension, electricity in the air. Something building. I shake my head, feeling dizzy. That dream last night had fucked me up in all kinds of ways, so it's not surprising that it's probably still messing with me. I'd be glad to be done with this place tomorrow. Some rustling next door draws my attention, and I see Kudzu carrying a set of clippers walk across his yard. I open my mouth to say hi, but I hold back, feeling self-conscious. Oh my god, just be like, "Hi! Hi! Hello, hello." His brooding nature was a bit intimidating, and I don't know if he's the kind of person who expects a greeting or not. I'm not left to wonder long, though, because he spots me almost immediately and raises a hand. "Mornin'." "Oh, hey there." He grunts before setting his attention on the bush in front of him, sizing it up. I stand there awkwardly for a bit, wondering if that's the end of our exchange, but he speaks up again. "Leo take off." He nods his head at the empty driveway. "Oh, yeah, earlier this morning." I walk down the porch and walk over to the edge of Leo's lawn so it doesn't feel like we're yelling at each other. Said something about having to take care of a business with his dad. I see." Kazi stops trimming and looks up at me. I can turn back up the audio. There we go. Trimming and looks up at me before smiling.
"You can come on my lawn. It's not like I have an electric fence or something."
Looking down, I see that I'm towing the edge of his immaculate lawn on Leo's side, looking like a little kid. I blush before stepping over to crunch along the tan-colored gravel he has let out. It's weird how nice it all is, especially compared to the shitty trailer sitting in the middle of it all. If he had an Adobe-style house, the place would be southwestern perfection. This all looks really nice. I guess gardening is your hobby?
"Thanks."
Kazu snips at the bush rather aggressively. What do you mean aggressively?
"I like it. It's what I do most of the day."
The raccoon moves to the side of the bush, examining it.
"It's peaceful."
He gives the bush another snip before resting a hand on his hip, while he lets the clipper dangle in the other.
"And it keeps you in shape."
I can't argue with that. Although he's skinny, the muscles showed through his arms the fur on his arms, sorry. He's probably the most in-shape guy I've seen in Echo. I realize I'm staring and quickly snap my eyes back to his, but he's already smirking. I worry he's about to point out that he's caught me, but instead he gestures to my camera bag with his clippers.
"Gonna do something for your project?"
Yeah. I need to get a bit of film before I leave tomorrow. The slender raccoon wipes his forehead with his forearm.
"Anything in particular?"
I think. No, not really. Just old stuff to show the town's age. Kudzi sticks the clippers into the ground, looking up as he seems to think.
"I know a few things. You go to the old school."
Yeah, was headed there actually.
"And then there's the ruins next to the lake."
Yeah, I was gonna wait for Leo to drive me there later today.
"Other than that, there's the old rusted pump up of the road, but I don't know if that's actually from Echo's earlier days."
Couldn't hurt to look. Where is it exactly? Kudzu points over my shoulder, up the road.
"Down past Duke's house, right before the convenience store. It's kind of hidden in some bushes, in the brush, sorry. But I can take you there.
No, if it's no trouble.
It's fine. I've got plenty of time to do this today.
Well, alright. Thanks. I shift the bag on my shoulder and stand to the side as Kudzu tosses the clippers beside the bush, then starts walking towards the road. I follow him quietly, again feeling awkward under his no-nonsense attitude. Wasn't this the background that got, like, retooled in Archers? I think so.
So, you and Leo getting along?
Yeah, we're having fun. My mind wanders back to the text messages and my stomach clenches.
Good. He's been looking forward to this week for a while now. Wouldn't shut up about it last week.
I'm somewhat surprised that it's Kudzu filling the silence between us. Not that I mind. He's pretty damn good at it for such a somber guy. And a few other places. Yeah! This is a little thing, except the sign is knocked down, right? I smile. Yeah, that's Leo. He really misses our old pack. Or does he? Kudzu huffs a laugh.
Wolves.
I agree. Wolves. As we walk, I can smell the heavy musk coming from the raccoon, mingled with his scent neutralizer, evident of a hard day's work. There's something special about hanging out with another musky creature. It makes you feel less self-conscious. Oh my god. So I know you hate Peyton, but don't you have to go back there for work?
Back in the day, had a job studying desert plants after college. Good times.
That was definitely... That would definitely put him a few steps above most everyone living in Echo, where a high school diploma is a rare thing.
I'm a clerk in the town hall, so no. I'm pretty much always here.
Always? Do you have a car?
Sold it after I came here.
Wow. Don't you have to get out to shop for food?
Sometimes. I grow and fish for what I can, and the convenience store has a surprisingly good produce section, but otherwise Leo gives me rides once in a while.
Ah, gotcha. See, Leo's a nice guy, right? Kudzu's like, I need to go get a Peyton convenience store and maybe to the mall. And Leo's like, yeah, sure, bud. See, he's a good guy. Again, I'm curious about what exactly happened, Peyton. I'm gonna be gone by tomorrow, and I don't find the question to be too intrusive, especially with all of the information he's provided me so far. The nicest red flag. Ben, please. So I don't want to be nosy. I let the statement hang for a moment, and Kudzu turns his head towards me.
Then maybe you shouldn't ask.
That stops me short, and I almost stop walking. I feel my face get warm, even under the heat of the sun. I glance over at the raccoon, but his expression isn't accusatory or angry. It's just as neutral as it always is. It makes me wonder if this is just the raccoon's way of speaking. I already know how blunt he can be. I decide to trust what little I know about him and press forward. No. I ask it with the same straight face.
Well, you could always ask yourself if asking something nosy is a good idea. No reason to do it if it's gonna piss someone off needlessly.
But before I can even decide, Kudzu goes on.
Now, considering what we were just talking about, I can probably guess what you were gonna ask.
I can feel the embarrassment returning.
Yeah? But before I answer it, I have a question for you.
I shrink a little more into myself. Yeah?
Why do you care?
The question definitely catches me by surprise, and at first I wonder if this is just Kudzu's way of telling me to shut up. But again, after looking at his face, I decide to just tell him the truth. I clear my throat. Well, I like you. You're a cool guy. It comes out rather lamely, but it is the truth. He has a demeanor of not really giving a fuck about what others think of him. It's like Flynn, except Kudzu doesn't seem like he was putting up a front at all. On top of that, he'd stepped in to stop a crowbar-wielding drug addict that he saw his friend in danger, when he saw his friend in danger. Kudzu laughs genuinely, and it's a bit of a bit startling.
That's really the reason.
I'm flattered again. Flustered again. Almost the same thing, almost. Well, yeah.
Fair enough. And I like you too. Leo was almost right about you.
What did Leo say about me?
A lot of things, but you can't expect a wolf as love-smitten as he is to not exaggerate, can you?
No, I guess not. I step on a particularly large rock and nearly lose my balance. Before I can even stumble, though, Kudzu's grasping my arm tightly, stopping me from running into him. Oh, sorry, and thanks. The raccoons had damn fast reflexes.
No problem.
I start to walk again, but Kudzu doesn't move. I stop and glance at him, but he's looking up the road, not at me.
I lost someone in pain.
It takes me a moment to realize what he's talking about, but then I do.
By a guy with a gun who didn't give a fuck.
I swallow and don't say anything, looking down at the ground.
Happened on the same street we lived on.
Of course, I have no idea what to say and wait for Kudzu to go on, but he doesn't. When I look up, I see that he's looking right at me. I swallow. Yeah, that would make me want to move too.
Yeah, people. And there's less of them here.
I'm sorry. Kudzu just looks back at me.
Why?
I open my mouth, but before I can say anything, Kudzu smiles.
Kidding.
I let out my breath in relief and laugh a little. Well, should we keep going? I make as if to walk up the road again, but Kudzu doesn't follow. When I look back, he nods to the brush on the side of the road.
It's right in there.
I wasn't expecting much, but I'm not disappointed as we come up at the pump. Mostly it's just a rusted piece of metal sticking out of the ground. Kudzu seems a bit put off by how lame it is himself.
Smaller than I remember it being.
It's something at least. I'll get a few shots out of it. I start unpacking the camera from the bag, a bit reluctant to do it for something so insignificant. How do you find this thing anyway? I look towards the road, which basically hidden by the dense brush in front of me.
Needed to take a piss. I know my house is right there, but peeing outside is, liberating.
Oh my god. Okay.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna go do that.
He pauses.
I can do it in front of the pump if you like. For effect.
I force a laugh, wondering if this is the first time I've heard the raccoon make a joke. What if it's not a joke? At least I hope it's a joke. Oh, my laughing turns into a groan, though, when I see the battery level. First my phone, now this.
What's up?
Kudzu asks for it from a bit deeper in the brush, facing away from me. My battery is low. I'm not gonna have enough for the school. I'll have to go back and grab a spare.
Oh well. Oh, why didn't you finish the footage for the pump while I run back and grab you another battery?
You sure?
Yeah, well, it'll be faster. I've been in his house a few times. Where's it at?
In a dock on the desk next to the computer.
Alright, I'll be back.
You didn't lock the door? Okay. maybe Kazu just dives in through the window, you know? And with that, Kazu jogs out of the brush and back into the road. Within a minute, I feel like I have all the footage I can get out of the pump. I sigh and rub my face, glad to at least be out of the sun, but annoyed that I've gotten so little footage for it. As I'm doing this, I hear what sounds like a gag behind me. I perk my ears and look back. I hear it again, but it's softer, more of a grunt this time. I'm almost positive that Kudzu didn't go that way, but I can't imagine who else it would be. Kudzu? I wonder if maybe the heat has gotten to him. I know how dangerous a heat stroke can be. Getting a little worried, I start moving through into the brush. Yeah, okay, sir. Again, I hear a gag, and it's almost louder this time. Cud? You alright? I start pushing deeper with a bit more urgency, and not 20 yards in, I come into a clearing. The ground is covered in dead grass, and the sun hits me again with a vengeance. I blink furiously, eyes watering under the brightness of the clearing and the blazing red behind my eyelids. After a few seconds, I'm able to pry my eyes open. The first thing I notice is a peeling trailer to the right, pressing up to the tree. I have some vague memories of a trailer back here where a grumpy badger used to live. Straight in front of me is the meadow is a dead tree with one with dry, gnarled branches that twist up into the sky. The tree itself would be eerie enough, but it's what under it that stops me dead. It takes me a moment to comprehend what I see. Hanging from the lowest branch is a body, long and thin, emaciated, I got there, down to the skeleton. I remain rooted to the spot, my mouth hanging open. Disgustingly, my mind immediately goes to the camera. I don't know why. Yeah, showing footage of a dead body to the whole class. Either I'd get an A for being edgy, or I'd fail for showing a fucking dead body. Probably expelled, actually. I feel my stomach starting to turn, and I'm finally able to take my first step back. But then it moves. It's a quick jerk, one of the skeleton's hands reaching up spasmodically to its neck before slumping back down. With my eyes fully adjusted to the sun now, I recognize the color of the fur, the build of that skeleton-like body. Clint? On unsteady feet, I manage to stumble forward and reach out toward the ringtail, aiming to at least hold him up until I can shout Kudzu over to help. Somehow, though, he is able to spin around and face me, his face in an expression of mortified fury. His eyes are almost glowing with how bloodshot they are, and his twisted muzzle is covered in drool, leaking down his chin onto his chest. Get back! Leave! What, Clint, what the hell are you doing? I move forward again, and Clint lashes out with a foot, hitting me in the knee. That's when I see his toes are touching the ground, at least barely. I stare in confusion and look up to meet Clint's furious eyes. Fucking leave! A spit flies from his muzzle, and I take a step back, completely at a loss for words. I don't... His bulging eyes move from mine to look over my shoulder, and his enraged expression melts, eyes growing wider. Oh, hello, Hersey. Hope you're doing well today. Slowly, I turn around, and my vision is filled with a mountain of brown fur. My eyes take a moment to draw out and focus on when they do. And when they do, I realize that I'm actually looking at a bear. A huge one, even for a bear. Huge, naked, and carrying a long, thin branch. The bear stands, and let me turn that down. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. The bear stands in the direction I'd come from, grinning stupidly at me. Instinctively, I widen my stance, eyes looking left and right. All reason has suddenly left the land of Echo, and now my brain is left to try and put the pieces of the crazy place together. I watch as a huge tongue sticks out from between the blubbery lips to lick at him, sliding slimly between the gaps of missing teeth, sorry. Once he done with that, he breaks out into a grin again, those black lips shimmering under the sun. This a friend, cat? The weirdly high-pitched voice is about as startling as a size. I look back at Clint, who's still struggling to stand on his toes, clutching at the rope now. So hard finding a good switch back there, but now it's worth it if it's these two of yous. The squeak that comes out of my muzzle seems to pique the bear's stubby ears, and he licks his lips again as he eyes me up and down. I should get going. Sorry about seeing. Yeah. Words fail me as the bear takes a step forward, and I start sidestepping, preparing myself to make a run for it. Hello. How do we pronounce this? Thartsy? Thartsy. Maybe that's how that's pronounced. The bear mimics my stance, and my stomach drops as I see him take another step forward. I change my trajectory and back away instead. This time, he doesn't follow me, just grins as he watches me move back into the brush. Clint struggles on the end of his rope, twirling around lazily as he tries to get a foothold. I get one last look at his face as he spins around, and I'm struck by his expression. For a moment, I'm 9 years old again, running behind the building on Main Street, probably from imaginary foreign agents of some kind. When I hide behind a tree next to Clint's house, I hear the screen door open for several minutes. I watch Clint breathlessly, breathing deeply into a rag. I'm too young to understand, but for some reason, I know it's not good. When I finally decide to run for my hiding spot, Clint looks up and we meet eyes. His are wide and wild, confused and hurt, just like now. I stumble into the brush, finally feeling like I'm far enough away to turn and finally make a run for it. Kudzu is standing next to the pump when I get back, holding a battery. What? I grab his arm and yank him towards the road. Come on! I mutter it under my breath before jogging down the road. Kudzu close behind, looking over his shoulder. It's not until we're at the end of the road, turning onto Main Street, before I'm able to slow myself down and tell Kudzu what happened.
Holy shit! That's Brian!
Who? I'm still panting, sweating heavily in the heat after that short jog down the street.
Big-ass bear that lives in the brush, right? He has a trailer in there.
I don't know him. I don't know him. Did he move here after I left? I thought a badger lived in that trailer.
I assume so. He was here when I got here.
Hello, Evie. Well, what the fuck was he doing? What the hell did I just see? My mind is still trying to process it.
I don't have the answer. Can't say I'm surprised, though.
Are you serious? That's like the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. Kudzu smirks.
Well, I guess I would have had to have been there, huh?
I stare at him. Yeah, I guess.
But from what I know of Brian, he's dumb and violent. Pretty sure he came here because he caused too much trouble in Peyton.
It's Clint that's the fucked up part. He's a fucking homophobe, but he's doing that shit?
I don't know much about Clint either. What I do know is that Brian is his dealer.
Really?
Well, really the entire town's dealer.
It made sense that Clint would need one in Echo, considering he was banned for life from driving after getting like 3 DUIs. But I thought Jeremy did that. Carl told me that that's where he gets his weed. Kazu shrugs again.
I assume Clint is using more than just marijuana.
Huh. It's becoming clearer what kind of relationship Clint and the bear had. I shudder, just wishing that I wouldn't had to witness it. I already feel bad for Clint, but now... Kazu holds out the battery still in his hand.
Want to move to the school?
Yeah, let's do that. Not gonna call the cops, not gonna, like, inform authorities, or thing, but, you know, I'd think about it. Okay. The next hour is pretty uneventful, though I do get enough footage to the point where I'm satisfied. There is a point where I notice a Duke down the road. He stands there for a while, watching us as I'm getting different angles of the school. It's annoying, but even though he's a complete fuck, a complete fuck up, he likes to pretend like he's in control of things in Echo. Probably just promoted himself to sheriff of the town in his mind or something. I ignore him though, and the next time I look up, he's gone. I turn my attention back to the project, finally able to calculate how much work I actually have left. Now most of my work is going to have to happen the night before the due date. I swallow, stomach churning at that thought. On the bright side, all of the stress is pushing the memories of Clint being hanged and whipped out of my mind. Later on, I finally get another text from Leo, just before my battery dies.
Heading back.
I'm hungry. We should meet at the diner.
Sure.
I invite Kazu to come along, but he tells me that he can't stand diner food and that he was gonna go fishing anyway. It's too bad because I've really been enjoying the raccoon's company, and fishing sounds relaxing. I try to exchange numbers with the raccoon, but my screen dies the moment I turn it on. Kazu takes my number, though, and promises to text me. I'm feeling better walking to the diner, but then I remember what happened with Leo, what I might have to do. Should I bring it up? You know, knowing that, like, the motel is like a 5-10 minute walk from the diner makes me go, just go to the motel and see if Jenna and TJ are there, you know? I would try to inform them and be like, hey, Leo's doing some things. What should I do, friend? I'm still gonna date him. We're still making that mistake. No worries. But I figured I should apologize for him. I don't even know where it'll end up going. Could I even trust him again? Leo's not in the diner when I get there. I pick a booth towards the back, resting my head against the patchy cushions and closing my eyes. The week's gone by so fast. I love that he saw that all his friends are being lied to and still didn't contact any of them. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little bit weird. Maybe it's an oversight. It's probably fine, though. We'll set down that thermos. Thinking back, I remember worrying that everything was going to be awkward, that our past would catch up in the worst possible way. And it kind of did. We didn't fix or talk about anything. That gives me a jolt of realization and sadness. This whole time I'd been occupied with Leo, and Leo with me. Wasn't Leo the one that was all concerned about us not keeping the pack together? This send-off feels empty and pointless. It's really the last time I might get to hang out with some of them, mainly Jenna and TJ. And TJ had the most shit to air out. Did I fuck up by basically ignoring him this whole time? We played soccer with him. He's fine. I feel a lump in my throat as I think about the hike I never went on with him. A good timeline, yes. Sure, I figured things out with Leo, at least temporarily. Very temporarily, actually. Already things are in jeopardy again. But now it feels like things I should have talked about with the others have been buried further. Even though I haven't seen the others for a few days, I can feel their resentment, knowing that Leo and I got what we wanted. Or at least, I thought I got what I wanted. Especially after leaving them to deal with the fallout of Flynn's meltdown. And now, because of that, it'll be harder to reach the root of the problem. Harder to talk about it. And because of that, we probably never will. I glance at my dead phone, reminded of the complete lack of texts from anyone other than Leo. I suppose this is life. Sometimes things are buried and never talked about again. And in a way, I guess that's for the best. Sydney's death will die with us. It just sucks that we all carry it, but can't rely on each other for support. I take a deep breath, wondering how long it will take me to process the whole trip. Or maybe my entire life, up to this moment. It's at this point that I notice Janice hasn't come to take my order. The diner itself is completely quiet. No old rockabillys coming over the staticky speakers. I look around, wondering if maybe the place is closed. I remember a few businesses didn't lock their doors. Mostly because of negligent employees, because burglary is somewhat common here. I look through the plastic window and the swinging door to the kitchen, past the counter, and notice that the fluorescent lights are definitely on. In fact, it looks like I can see some movement from shadows on the wall. I think about getting up and knocking on the door to let them know I'm here, but that's when the front door pushes open. Leo comes in, a big grin on his face. Oh my god.
Chula!
My stomach twists as he sweeps up to my side, and I can't help but jerk it away when he kisses at my cheek. He pulls back, frowning.
Chase?
I sigh, not able to meet his eyes. Leo, I need to talk to you about something. Immediately, I can see the worry in his eyes. He steps back, watching me.
What?
Sit down.
Why?
Leo asks, but sits down anyway. First off, I have to tell him that I looked at his fucking phone, and that's bad enough. I look to the right, heart pounding.
Otter, what is it?
His voice is soft, and I can hear the slight tremble in it. Leo, I looked at your phone.
What?
I jump as Leo's hackles raise, and he bares his teeth. It's not an angry reaction, more defensive, fearful.
Leo, why the fuck would you do that?
I shrink back, looking down, and as I listen to his breathing pick up. I'm sorry, but you know what I saw.
Fuck. Fuck, man.
Leo puts his face into his hands, which gives me an opportunity to look up. His ears are down, and drooping towards the table. Why did you do that? I wait while Leo continues to hide his face, his body rocking.
Not now.
Not now what?
You can't do this to me now. Not after...
I didn't do anything. You're the one texting people that I don't give a fuck about them. His head snaps up, then, and I can see his eyes glistening.
I didn't say that. I just said you were busy.
And what you said to TJ. Leo winces at that, and he slumps back into his booth, his face dejected, desperate.
Please, Chase, just try to understand.
What? I let some anger in my into my voice, wanting to show Leo that I'm not gonna forgive him just because he's sad. And I think he realizes that, because his face changes, lips bared out of anger this time.
Yeah, I'm really fucking guilty, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
Says the asshole that just ditched me, avoids me, won't talk to me.
Chase indeed does not give a fuck about them. This is a little bit true, though. This is a little bit true. I don't say anything in response.
And you wonder why I'm fucked up about this. You're the one that just walked out and left me.
I was young.
Yeah, you keep saying that like you're not young now. If you had actually dumped me, then maybe I wouldn't be this fucking messed up about it.
That last sentence escalates into a scream, and I flatten back into the booth, glaring up at him. Leo had never hurt me before, and I'm not afraid he will now. I've endured plenty of his tantrums. Do you know how crazy this makes you look?
Oh great, you too!
I'm serious, this is fucking unacceptable. I'm drawing the line here. Leo snarls, snarling face turns up, and that's when I hear movement behind me. I turn my seat and see Janice striding out from behind the counter, the kitchen door swinging shut behind her.
Janice?
Leo's fur flattens back down, like he's forgotten about our argument. It makes sense why. Something's wrong. Janice had been acting strange all week, gradually looking more haggard and pissed off as time went on. Of course, I hadn't forgotten what had happened on the side of the road a few days back. But I'd be concerned with the... just assuming it had been some kind of drug-fueled adventure of hers. Now I'm convinced she's having a mental breakdown. Her fur is mussed up on every inch of her body. Her eyes are wild and wide. Not wide and wild. Okay. Similar to how I'd seen Clint earlier. Blood is smeared across her apron, and the handle of a knife sticking out of the front pocket.
Janice, are you okay?
Leo's half standing. I'm not sure if it's because he's afraid of her, or afraid for her, or of her. Why not both? It can be both. She doesn't say anything, and as she sidles up next to our booth, I slide a bit towards the inside. Why would you do that? Under her wild gaze, I'm feeling a little trapped.
Janice.
Why all the shouting? A little impatient? Well, let me take your order, and I'll get you settled.
Are you okay? Are you cooking?
Leo gazes at her apron. Yes, I'm cooking today. What can I make you? I get the unnerving feeling that she isn't even looking at us. Leo glances back at me, to which I respond with a bewildered look of my own. Burger with fries, cheese and bacon on it, no condiments, no nothing else, it's fine. And how about a chocolate milkshake with that? And also a cup of water. That'd be nice. That's what I'll order.
I think we might.
Nonsense. I've got everything fired up in the kitchen. She doesn't respond. Leo doesn't respond. Just staring at the big coyote. Dinner of champions. Yeah. Janice smiles, crookedly. Oh, what was that one story? The Crooked Man? Was that that was one of the stories for Hellboy, right? The Crooked Man? Pretty sure that was his name. That's a good comic book. Well, if you're not gonna order something, then I'll just make your favorite. With that, she turns and starts waddling off, having not even acknowledged me. What the fuck? I reach into my pocket, thinking about calling an ambulance for the poor woman until I remember my phone is dead. God damn it, Chase! I whisper over to Leo. Should we leave?
Maybe.
But Leo doesn't move, just stares after Janice. I would walk out. I'd just be like, we'll just get up. We'll leave. Go to the motel. Get my fucking car. Get out of there. Because if I saw Mr. Cocaine Bear in the woods and then this happened, I'm like, today's just not a good day. We're getting out of here. We're gonna go to Peyton. We're gonna go watch a movie at the theater. We're fine. Does this man not have a power bank? I mean, most people don't, right? No, people don't really carry that around with them. I know that I own, like, I've purchased, like, 3 throughout my life, right? I have no idea where any of those are anymore. Like, fuck. They're probably, dead in a drawer, and I just don't know where it is. I look out the window to the sun-baked road. Have you noticed that something's off?
About Janice? No shit.
Not just her. The whole town. I think about mentioning the meadow with Clint and Brian, but I'm still trying to absorb that myself. So there was this really hot bear that whipped Clint. It was kind of hot, but, like, wasn't in the mood at the time. You're like my dad on that one? No! Look, the power banks, they're, like, weirdly sized. Because I usually get, like, the cylinder-shaped ones. And they're just, like, I just lose them. Look! I haven't purchased one in, like, 5 years, okay? Like, I don't know, man. Leo sits back, is still looking at the kitchen door where Janice disappeared.
Honestly, people act so crazy here, I don't know if it's because of drugs or because they're actually crazy.
Boomer energy? You're so chunter. No, stop. We aren't that bad. Guys, we are not that bad, okay? Okay. I see his nose twitch.
And I don't think she knows how to cook. Something smells funny in there.
I look back out the window, wondering if I should bring up our argument again. That scene with Janice has totally thrown me off, and I'm reluctant to waste more energy on yelling. It has to be brought up again somehow. We can't just let this sit. It's clear that's exactly what Leo wants, though, so I huff and stare out the window. Oh my god! This fucking town. No, get out of there. Come on. I just start walking back to the motel. That's just me, Fur. Like, do you think... Oh, what's her name? Jenna! Do you think Jenna has already eaten all of Chase's oatmeal? The oatmeal from Flynn's route? Because, like, I think Chase mentions that he got it on the way to Echo. So it should still be in his bag, right? Still has all that oatmeal with dinosaur eggs. Yeah. I haven't been paying much attention to it in the past few days, being too infatuated with Leo. Sure, I'd seen some weird things, but it seems in my absence everyone's gone to the fucking wacky shack. I look at Leo. Have you been noticing any of the weird shit going on? Leo sighs.
Again, I never know what's weird and not here. I guess I've noticed a few things.
I frown. Were you just hoping I wouldn't notice? Leo doesn't say anything. Instead, he just goes on staring at the kitchen. Would he really just let me blindly move into this town when he knew everyone was fucking crazy? Looking out the window, I notice a figure moving up the street, jogging. A feline. TJ? We don't care about him. Is that Tej? Leo glances out the window.
Looks like it. Out for a jog, of course.
The wolf turns his attention back to the counter as Janice comes out, a messy, bribbling? Bribbling milkshake in her hand. What's bribbling?
Hey, Janice, what are you cooking back there?
I glance at the crazy coyote as she wobbles over to us, staring at the milkshakes with wide eyes. Oh, you know, meat. Leo lets out a hollow laugh.
Oh, what kind of meat?
I'll be honest with you, it's a little tough and stringy. I lose interest in the conversation, and instead look back out to TJ. Oh my god, do you think it's deer meat? Yeah. I feel like something's off for sure. He's a ways away, but he looks kind of afraid. One of his hands reach out to bat at something. Something's wrong. I mutter it under my breath and start to stand, set on getting out of there to see what's going on with him. But at that moment, a truck pulls into the parking lot, right in front of the window. I find myself staring right at Duke. I also see something big in the back of his pickup, a brown furred head poking out over the roof. Duke? Leo snaps his head over to look out the window. As the weasel gets out of his truck, he's a weasel! That's what he is. I always forget that. I see something in his hand. A gun?
Gun. Shit.
Language, Leo.
He's bringing a gun in.
Leo reaches across the table for me. Not while I'm here.
Janice.
But she's already striding across the door, just as a Duke pushes through them.
Chase, get down.
But Duke spots us immediately.
I told you to fucking run away from me. Not to run away from me.
He starts towards our table, but Janice, on her way towards the kitchen, intercepts him. Duke, is that a gun? I am not going to have you barging in here to ruin the peace. She sticks her bulky body in the way.
Get the fuck out of my way.
Language? It's as if Janice doesn't notice that there's a fucking gun being waved around next to her face. I reach out and grab Leo's arm, trying to pull him down.
Call the police. My phone's dead.
Leo slowly sits, then looks around. The only exit is at the front, but we're trapped. I'll be honest with you, I'll just take his phone. Leo's not gonna call anyone. I would just reach into his pocket and grab his phone. Like, fuck it, who cares? What's he gonna do? Swat my hand away? Unlikely. The only exit is at the front. We're trapped.
You don't think these fuckers are behind all of this? You've been seeing that order around town, haven't you?
I'm not concerned with that anymore. I've made things right.
You're not fucking concerned that what happened to our grandparents is happening to us.
I won't ask you to leave again. Her voice is threatening. From this angle, I can't see her hands, but I can see she is reaching for something. Oh my god.
Chase, get down.
Leo's voice is bizarrely calm, but as he reaches over to me, I can feel him shake. He presses down on my shoulder, and as I'm about to slide under the table, I see Janice move forward, then... Lit. Janice go down. I cover my head and cower under the booth under the table. Janice really go down. Leo shouts and yanks me up against his side, covering me with his arms. I hear him breathe heavily into my ear, and I stare wide-eyed from under the booth, only able to see the dirty beige wall opposite us. Leo's breathing is all I can hear, otherwise it's silent. Then I hear Duke muttering something under his breath, followed by soft padding footsteps. A few seconds later, his legs come into view, and his feet turn to face us. I see the gun dangling from one hand before he raises it slightly, pointing at us. I close my eyes. How did this happen? Just seconds ago, Leo and I were arguing, and now I'm about to fucking die. That happens. I keep my eyes tightly closed, hugging to Leo as hard as I can, and wait. But nothing happens. I keep my face pressed into Leo's chest, though, wondering if I'm already dead. Finally, Duke speaks. Leo, out. Otter, you stay there. I feel Leo hesitate against me. Then his lips press against my ear.
It'll be okay, baby. Just stay here.
Slowly, he untangles my arms from around him. Then, with his hands, he pushes out from under the table and stands up. Face the wall. Leo hesitates, and Duke growls. I mean, that can't be intimidating, right? Like Duke growling? I ain't gonna fucking kill ya. We're just figuring out what happened is all. Killing ya doesn't fix anything. I mean, you killed Janice. The last guy got killed, and that didn't fix shit.
You shot Janice.
'Cause she got in my fucking way. But it doesn't matter. Everything's fucked up now. Leo turns his face to the wall slowly. I watch from the space between the table and the booth.
What do you want?
To fix this fucking town? You're starting something with the otter. This has all happened before. Duke looks out the window and makes a come on motion with his hand. We're going to stop it from happening this time. Leo looks to the left.
But
for it. There we go. There we go. Obs go up.
but you fucking killed Janice.
I hear the wolf's voice break slightly. Won't matter in the long run. The doors rattle as somebody comes in. You got the zip ties? Hands behind your back, Leo. Leo looks at whoever just came in.
Come on. Now.
Hello, Brian. I mean, that's weird that this is the first scene with Brian's sprite. He's just kind of like, hello. Okay. Slowly, Leo does as he's told, and I see a pair of massive paws reach forward to bind the wolf's wrists. I swallow hard as I watch Brian pull the zip tie tight. Duke puts a forearm to his nose. Fuck, you stink. I hope you didn't kill that ringtail. We could use him. Brian just grins in response, his teeth yellow. My heart sinks as I think about Clint. Had he been warning me to run? Why had I thought that him hanging from that tree like that was probably just a normal thing for him and the bear? Was he a victim of whatever crazy has just hit this town? That must have been what was going on. All of this is hitting at once. Clint was probably just as scared as I am now. Grab the otter and tie him up too. Just stick him in the trailer for now. My stomach drops. And Duke gestures with his gun. Again. Come on out. My legs are lead. I can't move. Leo looks over his shoulder at me, and the fear in his eyes are even more. Wait, the fear in his eyes scares me even more. That's what that says. Yeah. I would like to use that ringtail, please. Oh my god, Ivan. His muzzle moves, mouthing something. Run. But still, I can't move. I've never been so scared in my life. It's like everything is numb. Brian doesn't care, though, and moves forward, the look on his face eager. The gun goes off again. Everyone, including Brian, jumps, and I hit the floor with my hands over my head. Fuck! Fuck! I look up and see Duke, eyes extra wide, dancing around, pointing the gun upward at the ceiling. Fuck, you see that? She's crawling around up there. I told you she's on my ceiling every night, watching me. Brian looks up too, and for the first time, his face is twisted into an expression that isn't a stupidly grin. Isn't stupidly grinning? Okay. It's full of fear. That looks angry to me. Well, that's just me. But when I look up, I see nothing.
Chase!
Leo hisses at me, and that jolts me back to reality. Without even willing myself to do it, I shoot out from under the table. In front of me are two exits, the front door and the kitchen door, which is closer. There has to be an exit in the kitchen, but I'm not sure of that. My legs are already making me run, though, and I have to make a choice. We'll go to the front door. We know there's an exit there, right? I have no idea if the kitchen has an exit, and there's no way I can risk it.
Don't look back, Chase. Go as fast as you can.
As I charge down the aisle, I almost trip over the large form of Janice. She's laying on her stomach, hands outstretched. A smear of red leads to the knife a few feet in front of her. I don't have time to dwell on it as I leap over her body, then charge through the door. Do you think Chase has his car keys on him? Do you think he has those? Do you think he can just go to the motel and get his car and drive into the diner? The bright sun and heat contrasts heavily with the cool dimness of the diner, but I don't have time to wait for my eyes to adjust. I take off down the road. A few seconds later, I hear the door smash as something large and heavy comes right after me. I don't look back. I gasp and wheeze as I run up the road and turn onto Leo Street. No one's around, and aside from the dull thumping some distance from me, it's completely silent. Something terrible has happened. And not just in the diner, the entire town. I'm not sure why I decided to run to Leo's house, but my mind is numb and reasoning is gone. Briefly, I think about Kudzu, but as I run past his yard, I don't see any sign of him, and I don't have time to try his door. I slam into Leo's door, pushing it open as I do. I slam it back shut and lock it with the deadbolt, then take off down the hall for Leo's room. I hear the doorknob turning back and forth as something heavy slams into it. I don't even know if Leo has a landline, and I look left and right wildly, not spotting a single thing that might be a telephone. I reach Leo's room and shut the door, wishing it had a lock. Oh my god. Jumping to the outlet with a wall charger, I clumsily take my phone out of my pocket. It takes 3 seconds to successfully jam the damn thing into my phone. Bouncing with terror, I look as the the screen lights up, giving me the battery charging symbol. Not enough power for it to turn on. Something shatters just down the hall, and I almost piss myself. It's followed by silence. I don't dare to even breathe. And then the house seems to shake as the bear ambles about, looking for me. I get down on my knees and try to squeeze up under the desk. I look at my phone again, but it still says 0%. I'm out of time. Hi. The door swings open with a crash, and the bear spots me instantly. He rushes at me, and I let out an involuntary scream. I dive out from under the desk as soon as he's on top of me, and try to roll away. He's big, but slow as hell, and I manage to get to my feet. It's at that moment that I remember Leo's gun. But just as my eyes flick in the direction, he lunges at me, and swings a huge fist at my face. Why didn't you grab the gun first? That's what my eyes would have went to. It was just like, oh my god, self-defense, I get to murder someone. I jerk back, and he still clips my chin, sending me into a spin, and my world into into blackness. Oh. I stare at the floor, mind wandering in circles. They're heavy, breathing above me, and as I get to my hands and knees, something impacts my side so hard it sends me rolling into the wall. I stare at the ceiling, lungs broken as I writhe around for air. The bear obscures my vision, and then reaches down to grab me by my shirt and yank me up. He stares at me, and I stare back before he swings me into the wall again, and my vision goes dim. He does it again, and then again. On the 5th swing, the dimming finally turns to black. Aw. The darkness that, not the blackness, the darkness. And the darkest darkness that surrounds me is painful. I feel like I'm floating in a black sea and nothing about it comforting or peaceful. It's like a, fitful douse? When you have a really bad fever. It feels awful and murky and sick. I feel my head tilt back, and a lightning bolt arcs through my head. I try to open my eyes, but they only manage to flutter, and I see flashes of red above me. Something is hooked under my back, and I'm dangling from it. I imagine a rope tied around me, holding me above the dark abyss below. Not as sickening as Leo! Oh my god. He's trying his best. Leo was trying his best, okay? Is this hell? I grit my teeth as the searing red becomes too much to look at, and I close my eyes again. This must be a nightmare, one that feels too real. I've had them before, and I know how to deal with them. Just need to go back to sleep, to drift off, and I'll wake back up in my bed. Go back to sleep and wake up back in my room. Wait, an echo? I try to think. I try to prod back into my memories. Where was I last? What was the last thing that I remember doing? Trying to remember is monumental. More than monumental. Yeah, more than I can handle. And fortunately, I drift back into unconsciousness. I pulled back into the sticky dark as something jolts my body. I grimace and gasp. I'm filled with such a feeling of unprovoked loneliness and despair that I actually feel my eyes watering and a sob escapes my mouth. I hear a soft chuckle above me and I go quiet. I still don't know where I am or what's going on at all, but that laugh is enough to tell me that I don't want to be where I am. The feeling of hanging from a rope is gone now. Instead, I'm lying on something flat and hard, and my arms and legs are spread out. The air is cool now, and my skin is cold and wet, like I'd been sweating a lot. The feeling is especially strong around my back, and I want to roll over, but I can't. Something is holding my arms down, and there's a rattling sound when I try to move. I moan and try to open my eyes again, though it's almost like they're glued shut. With a little more effort, I manage to crack one open. At first, all I see is a blur of colors above me, and I have to blink a few times to clear it. Slowly, the image comes together, and I'm able to make out that someone is there above me. Oh, hey, how you doing? Look at him. Look at this guy. Yeah. I feel my blood run cold, realizing that someone has been watching me this whole time. But I'm lying down. How is someone on the ceiling? I try to speak, but only a dry, cracking squeak comes out of my throat. At this point, my vision has cleared enough to make out an otter. An otter? I squint. Blue shirt, beige pants. I gasp and reflexively try to draw back from the thing. Is it me? It's Miles. It's missing my goatee. How? The flat surface I'm lying on tilts precariously, and my stomach lurches. I try to clutch onto the surface, though there's nothing to grab onto. I shut my eyes and gag as I feel my stomach swirling around inside me. All I can do is pray for it to stop, feeling like everything around me is about to fall over. The ache in my head is magnified tenfold, and tears start leaking from my eyes. Just when I think I'm about to slip off the face of the earth, the ground starts to tilt back to the other way. I swallow and gasp for air, my entire body shaking and sweating all over again. I feel like I've been swimming too long and my body is exhausted. What the hell is going on? I remember that someone was staring down at me from the ceiling, and I open my eyes again, fearful. Oh, hey! I cringe as I see that same otter staring down at me, the otter that's clearly wearing the same colors as I am. But now I'm not smiling. A tear-stained expression is on his face. It's a mirror. A mirror on the ceiling? Oh, wait, is his shirt riding up a little bit? Oh, look at that. Yeah, a little bit of tummy. I try to sit up, but come up short, gagging as something tightens around my neck. I try to move my hands to whatever it is, and that doesn't work either. Not him teasing us with this happy trail, right? That same rattling sound I heard earlier makes me look toward my right hand, and what I see makes my blood freeze. Around my wrist is what looks like a leather strap. I desperately look to my other hand and find the same result. Looking at my feet, I see the same contraption fixed to my ankle. When I try to lift one of my feet, I see metal glinting from underneath, making me think that the leather is bolted into the platform. Panic raises up in my chest, and I kick my feet and try to flail my hands, but the straps hold firm into what looks like wooden planks, which in the platform that I'm laying on, they're arranged in a way to leave me spread eagle. Oh. Over the over the leather, I can smell all kinds of musk, though the strongest one reminds me of Clint. I try to lift up my head, but that thing around my throat is too tight, and it instantly makes me choke again. My head throbs. Tears start to form in my eyes again as I try to think back. Where the fuck am I? Is this a prank of some kind? Maybe my friends at the dorm trying to scare me. Had I been drinking at a party? No, wait. I'm in Echo. That's the last place I remember being. I'm here for a project and I'd been with my old friends. I want to play a game? Maybe. I was with Leo, and I'd been at the diner. Suddenly, all of the horrible things that had happened that day come rushing back. Janice, Clint, Brian, the gun. Oh my god. Had that really happened? I struggle a bit more, then try to think. I had run to Leo's house. Leo, I don't know what happened to him. I left him with Duke. And then Brian, he'd been chasing me and tried to break in. I start to breathe heavily again as I realize where I might be. Brian got me when I was trying to run and hide. He just fucking attacked me. I look around. Bitch, you live like this? Oh. I'm in a small room, what looks like a living room of some kind. There's a couch to my right and a wall with a clock on the left, ticking away. There's windows too, and along with the ticking, the wind blows outside is the other sound that I can hear. Looking down toward my legs, I can see what looks like a tiny kitchen with some cupboards and a countertop. Dishes and junk are piled high along the length of the counter, and it smells like cigarette smoke. Judging by the layout and size of the place, it looks like I'm in a trailer home. I'm glad he hired an interior decorator. He's got there, you know. A small moan of terror escapes my lips. I'm in Brian's home. I remember Cud telling me that he lived in one. Tears start leaking out of my eyes again, even though the crying is making my head throb all over again. All I can think about is what he was doing to Clint. No, I have to calm down. I don't want to attract any attention if he's actually nearby. After what happened in the diner, the cops should be on their way, if they aren't already here. People eat in the diner all the time. Someone, one of my friends probably, would find and call someone. I just have to wait until they find me. I swallow again, feeling my body break out into a cold sweat all over again. What is going on? They wanted something from us. I remember that, at least. But what? Duke had been saying something about seeing things, that we might be responsible. I squeeze my eyes shut and shake my head, but then immediately stop when my head throbs from the movement. None of this makes any sense at all. Am I dreaming? At that moment, I hear a soft mumble in the distance, though through the thin walls of the trailer. I freeze and hold my breath. It's a little ways off, but I'm almost positive that it's Duke. The high, wheezily whine mixed with the occasional smoker's cough is unmistakable. It's coming closer, and I can start to make out what he's saying. Because we're already fucked here. You think we can just let them go and it'll be all fine? I don't know what he's talking about, or who he's talking to, but the sound of an accompanying heavy lumbering step gives me an idea.
It's worth it, though, if we figure out what the fuck is going on.
It sounds like they're right up against the trailer. I can hear them walking around it, towards the small door on the right side of the kitchen.
Leo ain't saying shit yet, but I think it might be the otter. He's the one I seen last week.
The footsteps stop in front of the door, and I listen hard, my heart pounding in my chest. I hope you haven't done anything to him.
I didn't.
Brian's uncharacteristically high-pitched voice sends a chill up my spine, my fur flaring out with it.
You bet your ass you haven't. You do any of your fucked up shit to him.
I stop breathing, staring at my terrified expression in the mirror.
What I'm saying is, we still got a chance to get out of this. What we've done is bad enough, but if we can get him to understand...
Then stop talking, and that's when they stop talking, and that's when I hear Brian's heavy, labored breathing. I'm not breathing at all, worried that they'll be able to hear even though they already know I'm here. I let it out with a gasp as the door suddenly swings open, and Duke comes up the steps, looking around before spotting me.
Brian, you are one sick fuck.
I tense up as a massive shadow appears behind him, and it feels like the entire trailer tips a bit as Brian makes his way up the same steps. Brian's presence is so imposing and frightening that I didn't even notice that Duke is now right next to me. I jump when he sets a hand on my left arm. I jerk my head to look at him, eyes wide.
Hey, calm down. We ain't gonna hurt ya.
Brian chuckles and Duke shoots him a look. He turns his attention back to me, softening his expression at least as much as he can with his scraggly, drug-fucked face.
We just need to get some information from you.
I open my mouth to speak, but all that comes out is a dry squeak. Brian chuckles again and makes his way to stand to my right. I cringe away from him and his a stench of old sweat as he grins down at me with his yellow teeth.
Brian, get some fucking water.
Brian looks at Duke with a strange face before turning back to the kitchen.
Hey, don't worry about him. I know this thing.
Duke taps one of the boards with a finger.
Looks bad, but we just gotta hold you here for a bit.
He's queer. He likes it.
And Duke glares at him, and Brian comes back from the kitchen with a ceramic mug.
You're queer too.
Brian visibly bristles, and his face loses any of the sick humor it once had. Duke clears his throat.
Things have been happening here, and we want to find out why.
What? Duke furrows his brow, like a kid trying to figure out something difficult.
You see, people ain't right in the head here.
No shit. Duke seems to immediately read my thought process before he holds up a hand and shakes his head.
Yeah, I know. What we're doing ain't exactly right in the head either.
Brian gives his dumb chuckle again, and I keep my face averted from him, partially because I really can't stand the smell.
But we're all a little fucked up here. And what I'm talking about is something else. Like what you saw with Janice.
I shift a little as I remember... as I'm reminded about what happened in the diner. Is she dead? Duke looks genuinely sad.
I don't know. But it's a damn shame. But you saw the way she came at me. That's the shit I'm talking about.
I look at the weasel's waistband and immediately see the handgun tucked into his pants there.
And I was hoping to stop it before any of this happened, but now...
everything's gone to shit.
Brian's finishing for him, and I can feel him move closer to the platform I'm laying on. Again, I avoid eye contact, not wanting to provoke him in any way.
Yep. And it's only gonna get worse.
Duke just looks at me, like that's all the information that I need. I don't know what you're talking about. I see a twitch of irritation on Duke's face, and I hold my breath. I mean, what's happening out there? Duke shakes his head.
What's happening everywhere. It wasn't just Janice that lost her mind.
Duke looks back at the window suddenly, his fur standing on end. I look too, but all I can see are the leaves and branches, the late afternoon sun filtering through them. Duke's quiet for a while before he starts speaking again without turning around.
It happened to my granddaddy, my daddy, and now it's happening to me.
I close my eyes, wondering if Duke is just as crazy as Janice was. If he does, I doubt he even has a clue what he's doing right now.
Dale's missing. Cynthia drove off into the desert.
Duke turns around to look back at me.
We saw your cat your cat friend running down the street on the way here, saying something is after him.
TJ.
Thing is, we've all got something after us. Something bad won't let you leave when it starts.
What's after you?
I flinch as Brian speaks just above me, leaning down towards my face. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Bullshit!
I flinch again as Duke's concerned demeanor immediately drops away.
Why do you think we came to get Leo and you?
He pauses, like I should actually know the answer. I feel myself starting to panic again, with these two crazy hillbillies looming over my body. I don't know what... Duke slaps me, and I gasp in shock.
I saw you hanging around this fucking town before you even got here, late at night, lurking around.
I'm still cringing from the slap, and I keep my eyes closed, as if not seeing any of this is going to make it stop.
And then, once all your friends get here, all hell breaks loose. You think that's fucking coincidence?
Hello, White. It's quiet for a moment, and all I can hear is the rush of blood in my ears. Is this really happening? I feel Duke touch my arm again, and I flinch in fear.
Hey.
I feel like he wants me to look at him, so I slowly open my eyes, tears spilling out as I do. The blurry shape of Duke dances in front of me.
I'm not saying you did it, or that what you wanted it to happen.
I don't say anything because I still don't know what he's talking about, but I know I can't tell him that.
It's just that you wanted to know something. Anything. Say that, so that we can stop this.
And Duke starts to pet my arm. I don't know about that one, Chief. And I shiver. Brian is breathing heavily next to me, and I glance at him. A glance at him shows that his expression is more interested now, almost eager. Duke still hasn't answered my question. It makes no sense that they'd go so far as to kidnap. But why? Why didn't you just ask us? Why all of this? I lift my hands weakly, making the platform rattle. Duke's face darkens.
Because I keep been asking Leo all week what the fuck you guys are doing, and he wouldn't say shit.
Duke stops petting my arm and scratches behind his head.
And, someone told me that you would know.
I stare at him. What? Who?
Someone I know, and it makes sense. Something bad happens, and if you don't fix it, it won't stop coming after you.
I shut my eyes and almost sob.
Say, it says they know, and I thought it had to be Leo or you, considering what I'd been seeing these past few weeks.
Duke pauses.
Or maybe one of your other friends.
My mind briefly flashes to TJ. I don't know what you're talking about. I wait for another slap, but it doesn't come. I open my eyes again, and Duke is looking back out to the window.
We're, kind of protecting you, too.
I stare at the back of his head.
Things are getting worse out there, and if we don't figure out something soon, we're all gonna die.
Duke's voice is dead and distant. Brian, though, touches my other arm, and I gasp, shrinking away. He's smirking down at me, looking at my stomach or crotch, somewhere around there.
Brian, stop!
Duke is turned back around, looking over me at the bear.
We're not getting anywhere right now, and I gotta get back to the wolf.
Even though Duke is the only one that hit me, I'm terrified at the thought of being left alone with Brian. Duke sees my face.
Don't worry, Chase. Even though you're lying to us, I don't plan to let this pervert have his way with you.
Brian snorts.
Brian knows what will happen if he does.
And Duke gives Brian a cold, callous stare, and this time Brian doesn't give his stupid grin back.
But you'd better hope your fuck buddy says something soon, because if not, we might have to get mean.
Duke heads for the door, turning to look over his shoulder.
Just feed him and make sure he doesn't escape. That's it.
And with that, Duke briefly disappears out the door. Briskly, that's what that says. A golden flash of afternoon light lighting up the dim trailer. Brian and I listen to the weasel's soft, anxious footsteps recede into the distance. As soon as the sound is gone, Brian stands up. I turn my head in time to see him whirl around and smash his fist into the wall. I jump as much as I can in my restraints before he does it again, this time slamming both of his fists against the wall.
A fucking faggot!
He screams as loudly as my ears immediately start ringing. I think he's talking to me, so I brace myself for what I'm sure is going to be the worst moment of my life. But he stalks right past me, not even looking at me. Instead, he strides up the kitchen counter. Once there, he picks up a dirty pan, then raises it over his head before bringing it down to hit with a crash. Okay, sir. I hear glass shatter before he does it again. And again. A passionate man? Is that what you would call Brian? Is this the ideal passionate man?
Goddamn cocksucking piece of shit!
He throws the pan across the room to crash into the wall.
I'll fucking kill him! I'll kill that fucker!
I stare at him, my eyes wide as I watch him stamp his feet like a little kid. Then he slaps himself across the face twice. After that, he closes his hands into a fist and punches himself in the head repeatedly. It's with a force that would knock me out cold. It might be funny if I wasn't tied down to a contraption in a trailer belonging to Brian. Brian stumbles after what seems like the fifth blow and covers his face. His massive shoulders shake with sobs.
Thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Thinks he can boss me around.
Brian whirls around and slams both his fists into the counter several more times, the sound of shifting glass accompanying it.
He'll kill him! Kill him!
His voice cascades in pitch and crescendos, not cascades, crescendos in pitch and volume before he finally slumps against the counter, a head in his hands as he starts crying again. I breathe as quietly as I can, not wanting to draw any attention to myself.
I'll get him. I'll fucking get him. Won't control me no more.
Suddenly, his quaking shoulders freeze. Slowly he turns, and with a sinking heart, I realize he's looking right at me. The fur on his cheeks, already matted before, are now flat and shiny with wet. Snot runs from his nose down to his upper lip. Then I see red dripping from his left fist. The fur on the right is matted with blood as well. He watches me for a while, then grins.
Am I funny to you?
I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. He suddenly strides right up to the end of the platform, standing between my spread legs. I feel numb, the fear taking up every fiber of my being. I feel nothing else.
You like seeing him make fun of me.
I try to speak again, but still nothing comes out. I swallow. No. My lips tremble and my voice shakes. I've never stuttered so hard in my life.
You know what I'd do to you if I could.
Brian sneers down at me, his wet fur on his cheeks blistering out.
Oh, I swear to God, I'd fucking tear your balls off right fucking now.
He rests a huge hand on my crotch and presses down. I cringe and whine. Please. Brian grins only gets bigger, and he rubs his crotch with his other hand as he watches me wince. Oh, good. You already know how to beg. Okay, Brian, at least ask me on a date first. Yeah, take me to lunch first. Like, come on, we can do this after. He leans forward towards my face, moving his hands to clamp over my mouth. And then I'd hang you for hours. I stare at him, breathing hard through my nose, tears leaking down the sides of my face. His hand slides down my mouth and my neck, and he starts to squeeze. Then I'd give you a little stool to stand on when you start to go out. Then I'd kick it away again. I gasp and gag, both from the squeezing and from his reeking breath. He stares hard at me, and I can feel his crotch grinding up against mine. He's hard. Hello, Kopika! Then he blinks and slowly pulls back. He watches me gasp and sob for a while before reaching down again. I try to turn my head away, letting out a moan of terror. But he doesn't grab my neck again. Instead, he prods and teases the fur, checking the skin on my neck. Better not bruise. If that the fucking cocksucker saw that. His expression darkens again. Josh would be moaning in other than terror here. You stop that. If you fucking tell Duke about this. He raises a fist and I cringe. No, I won't, I swear. Caps lock, sorry, I didn't mean to be that intense about it. I see, no worries. I turn my head away, eyeing his raised fist. He holds it there a while, watching me. He seems to be calculating something, like he's wondering if he can get away with what he's about to do. Then he seems to make up his mind. Good. With that, he slams his fist right down into the center of my torso, just below the ribs. My vision flares, and I hear a rasping, droning wheeze that I realize is coming from my mouth. It goes on until there's no air left in me, and then I can't breathe again. My vision goes black, and as I suffocate, or writhing against the restraints, wanting to curl up into a little ball and disappear. It feels like hours, days, and before I finally get a sip of air. My mouth gapes as I try to suck it in faster. Brian is standing over me, and I'm somehow surprised that he's got a worried look on his face. He probably thinks he's killed me. But then my stomach starts to turn and lurch. Before I even realize I'm about to puke, a gush of vomit fills my mouth and I start to choke. Shit! Brian hurries to my side as I'm given a second heave mixed with a gag. He tips the platform over sideways. His huge paw brushes my face to the side to look at the ground, and I watch as it all spills out into the ugly shag carpet. When I finish, Brian slowly tilts the table back up, looking at me with disgust. At this point, I'm too tired to cry. Instead, I lay there in a daze, occasionally hacking or coughing. Brian goes to the kitchen, rustling around a while before returning with water and paper towels. He wipes my face and nose before tilting my head up to drink some water. Rinse and spit! He holds the mug there until I do as he says. Then he gets down on his knees. I watch his head bob up and down as he busies himself with the mess on the floor, muttering about Duke finding out. I'm too numb to really care about it. To care right now, though. Right now, I'm starting to realize that I might not survive this. Brian calms down pretty quick after his tantrum. Okay. I know that this sequence goes on for a while. So, I think this little transition is a decent place to stop for the night, guys. There we go. We'll go back to the main menu. Okay. Okay. Does everyone like Brian? Brian's a fun guy, right? He's doing his thing. So next stream might be the last one. I don't know if it'll be the last one. The next section's long. Like, it's long. I think, like, the Saturday and Sunday for Leo is, like, the longest one, like, bunch. It's paced out a little bit more in other routes, but Leo's is, like, oof. You know, we have to break into Duke's house. All that entire scene's really long. There's the stuff at the motel, because remember that scene exists. And there's the trailer, there's the Janice scene. Like, there's a lot. There is a lot left. It's almost annoying, but that's fine. So probably 2 more streams. It really depends. Either that or I have to have, like, one long 4-hour stream, and that's exhausting reading for that long. That's exhausting. So yeah, I do hope that you all have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys around. Have a good night, everybody.